You know, I was always saying that I needed to stop spending money. Somehow, I always ended up visiting the antique store on the weekends and bringing something home anyway. My apartment was filled up with an array of ancient oddities. I like to collect strange and unsettling things and then paint them. That week, I picked up an old painting. It was an oil piece of a young woman that was standing in the middle of an empty room. She had a knife in her hand and the most unsettling look on her face. I thought that it would be fun to try and paint it, copying the style. The first 2 nights, the changes in the original painting were so subtle, I didn't even notice them. But the longer it went on, the more impossible it was to ignore. The woman got closer to the front of the canvas with each night that I painted her. It was fascinating. I had never seen anything like it, and I was curious about what was going on. So I kept painting it. Well, they say curiosity killed the cat for a reason. I was damn lucky that it didn't kill me. The woman got closer, and she started to twist. Her blank expression seemed to become more furious and angry. Her hair turned silver with age. When she got to the very front of the room, pressed to the canvas, I was privy to a close-up of her face. Her mouth was twisted with rage, like a rabid dog that was snarling. I'd been starting a new painting each night, desperately trying to figure out what was happening. Now that she had hit the end of the canvas, would she turn around and go back to the center of the room? No. She took up her knife and she slashed the canvas. A cut appeared on the picture in my world too. I could only watch in horror as this woman started to pull herself out of the canvas and into the room that I was in. Her body was textured like oil paint, and it was clear that she was coming out with murderous intent. The blade of her knife glistened in the bright light of my art studio. I screamed and threw myself backwards. The woman fell out of the painting and onto the floor. She only stayed there for a moment before getting up and lunging at me. Her knife missed and split open one of my other canvases. I threw everything that I could get my hands on at her. Paintbrushes, canvases, paint. Nothing stopped her. Not until I grabbed a bottle of paint thinner at least. It slammed into her. The lid popped off and splashed the thinner on her. The woman let out an inhuman scream and stumbled backwards, ripping at her body as she began to melt. Realizing that that was the way to defeat her, I grabbed onto a gallon jug of it and ripped the top off. I splashed the bottle onto her. She stumbled backwards and I pursued her, until she was nothing but a melted puddle of colors on the ground. Then, I grabbed the canvas that she had come out of, and I poured the paint thinner on it as well, letting the old oil paint dissolve and swirl over the aged canvas. I was so scared that she might come back. I even went so far as destroying the other pictures that I had painted of the woman. My hope was that if I could destroy all of them, she would never come back. But I was wrong. She's out there now, in the art studio, reformed from spilled oil paint and thinner. Her body is deformed now, and she's even more furious than before. I don't know if I can beat her this time. If I don't, make sure you destroy any paintings that you find in my studio tomorrow. Make sure that no matter what happens, she never gets out.
Subscribe today, or beware.